Hello, hello. My name is Linda, also known as Tortajala around the internet. I love creative journaling and all things stationery. Today, I wanted to share a little journal story with you. This is my Midori 3 year diary. I had diligently filled it out for 2 years, and I was going on 3 years in 2025 up to around May. And all was well because it's very easy to fill out, given that it's only a few sentences. These multi year diaries usually are easy to catch up with. But when I went off on summer break with my kids, there was international travel. I did not take this with me, and it basically fell to the wayside. So when I returned months later, I just didn't feel like catching up. I was over it. And I felt like because I had so many different types of journals, this was not really just serving me. So basically, with my feelings all lukewarm, I realized that it was just not something that I had to spend my time on completing, like just to complete it? So that type of journaling, it just didn't stick for me, even though I do believe in daily journaling. I do morning pages, but maybe that's why there are so many different outlets for me that this particular effort didn't work out. And again, I sort of stuck to it because it was so easy to do and keep up with when I was home, but I didn't want to keep spending time, even if it was only a few minutes, to work on a project that, just didn't have that spark anymore. It was just to finish it, to get to completion, but I thought to myself, when I do complete it, like, what would it mean to me? And maybe when it comes to multi year journals, maybe I need to pick a theme, like it has to be gratitude rather than just random. I don't know, but it was no longer important to me. But the book itself is beautiful, right? It is a Midori multi-year diary, and there are so many aspects that I like about it, and I didn't want to just trash it. So I decided to wash it, like quite literally. As you can see, the book did get very bashed up, but what I was experimenting with is that I used fountain pens to write in this journal. So first I use a paintbrush with just plain water and started like brushing away at the ink. And I realized it could be washed away. I suppose that is why some people use document, permanent or pigment inks so that their writing can't be washed away. But most normal water-based fountain pen inks, if you put enough water on it and like rub a little, it will almost completely come off, some more than others. Um, I never really thought about this before, and I suppose it depends on what you're writing and how much it matters to you and how much risk there might be of, water damage. But I think I always thought that ink was more permanent, but it really isn't, especially water-based, fountain pen ink. If you write with a ballpoint pen or a gel pen, it actually resists more to water. And you could do a simple test, just like write out with your pens on a piece of paper and then just wet it in the sink and see what are the inks that wash away and what are the inks that actually remain. Um, so in the beginning, I was using a paintbrush and just washing it away, but this would take forever for like 365 pages. So I decided to take the whole book under the sink and just wash it. And I did have to wash like almost every page and scrub a little because if you just dump a book in the water, pages that are stuck together, it would actually just transfer the ink, or a book that's waterlogged, it sort of depends like how long the water stays on top of that particular page, how much exposure there is. That's how much would wash away or not wash away. So I tried my best, but of course it was really like ripping the book apart to like be putting it in water, and turning the pages of like wet paper, it made it so that there was the risk of tearing it as well. So I did my best and then I put it outside to dry. So now this book is like very weathered and most of the ink has washed off, but there might still be some pages where there's more of a halo or two pages were stuck together. So some of the writing did remain. But yeah, I it was enough. that washed away. But unfortunately, the whole book sort of detached from the cover because of the fact that I was washing it. So I probably washed away the glue that was keeping this like text block into the cover. So what I decided to do was actually just rebind this. You can see that most of the pages, like they are washed away. So it's pretty much like, an old book that can be reused. Obviously, this paper is nice paper. It's Midori MD paper. I didn't want to just toss it. So I thought I would use it maybe as a creative journal or something like that and just rebind it. Um, you can do a few searches on YouTube if you're looking on tutorials on how to like rebind a book or restore an old book. I have some tools and some materials. I have learned like quote unquote the correct way to do this, but I'm also a lazy crafter, so I just do everything as best I can with what I have. Um, so my idea is to basically, you know, rebind this text block or like glue it back into the cover because the cover itself is also very beautiful. Even though I'm not going to use this as a multi-year diary, I thought that um, it is 365 pages, so it would be good for any kind of year-long project or challenge, anything of that sort. And it could be multi-year, the way that this journal was designed, or it could just be a daily project, right, for a whole year. Um, or you could, of course, ignore the dates altogether and just use it as like a junk journal book or a creative art journal, because as I stated, even washing all of these pages, the paper, once it's dried up, I mean, it's still held up. So, um, I think that it's something that is good quality and worth keeping. Obviously, I spent my money on this. And also, I noticed that the text block itself, like these pages that are bound together, obviously sewn together, they work like they've held up perfectly fine. It just got detached from the cover itself. So really, I just need to figure out a way to reattach the text block into this particular cover. Um, Unless I wanted to make my own cover, but I thought I would just attach it back and use some, uh, black sort of cloth paper and some cardstock for deco and just put it all back together. So now that I have this journal that is old but renewed to play with, the pages are waterlogged, but I think it actually creates this really cool effect having the fountain pen ink that has washed off and left sort of some colors. So I think this will be a very fun journal and very pretty to play in. And yeah, I could do maybe a mini collage a day, a mini creative journal exercise a day, or it could be multi-year as well. I don't know. Not yet sure what I want to do with it, but I do want to do something. What do you think? Should I keep this as like a multi-year kind of creative journal? Or just do a page a day for a whole year-long project. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have ideas. And thank you so much for watching this video and um, going through this process with me in terms of just reworking something old. And I hope that it has maybe sparked some ideas in you and given you some ideas on how you can take something that maybe you just decided wasn't working for you anymore and how you could change it into something more interesting and more creatively exciting for you moving forward. Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you'll have like thoughts, impressions, your opinion, I'm definitely curious to know what you think of this little project here of washing away your journal. Thanks so much. I hope you have a lovely day, and until next time, bye.